Welcome to another Quantum Conversation. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome to another episode in our Interdimensional Summit series, Quantum Conversation. Today we are with Akasha Smith. She is a beautiful guide who helps us step into our mastery. Today we are talking about help from the cosmos, from our Pleiadian brothers and sisters, and how we can step into leadership roles and create new earth. Hi, Akasha. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello. It's wonderful to be here with you, Lauren.
Well, I love that we're talking leadership because for those of us who have been doing the work, here at New Earth One, we talk about the wisdom, and there's so much wisdom out there, and many people have been tying in and tapping into that wisdom for so long. Years, decades. Some are new at this and really eager and hungry for it. But part of this journey goes into applying the wisdom. And that's where we have a lot of courses that help us apply that wisdom, Akashic records, past life history, clairvoyance, clairaudience, the whole kit and caboodle. But then many of our audience members are now needing something more and feeling that internal call to step up. And that is where leadership comes in, because so many people are now ready to share their gifts, to share their applied wisdom. So that's what we're talking about here today. And this is really important. So when we're saying interdimensional, tell us what happened with how you received this information, because it did come from the Pleiadians, and it is your interdimensional connection that made this bridge happen. How did this information come to you?
You know, it started with me showing up and doing channelings, activations for people, and they often will give me the guidance which topic to focus on. And they very clearly were saying, we need a leadership program. We need an empowered, authentic leadership program. This is what's important. Now is the time to get out there and be creating New Earth together. And so I thought that meant that I was going to create a whole new program, but really what that meant was I had already created it in past channelings and just a little bit needed to be added to it to make it all cohesive. So they worked in the mysterious ways of having me sit and channel over a period of time, 12 months, sit and channel. And then they explained to me afterwards that the program was already created, that that's what we were doing.
I love that flow. That is a beautiful expression of how we all can be moving in this time, because you showed up for it, right? You showed up for it and you just listened. You listened and you did the work and you received the information. And then at the end of that, there it was revealed that this is something beautiful that was created. So, first of all, let's start with the Pleiadians. I'm certain that many watching and listening are already feeling the Pleiadians, are tuned into it. But who are the Pleiadians from your perspective?
So, from my perspective, the Pleiadians are these incredible light beings that have gone through, a very similar journey to us with their ascension process and their awakening process. And they've been leading and teaching us since the beginning of time. They helped seed humanity, they helped create our human race by coming down and actually, they came as star mothers to Lemuria. And they basically mated with the humans and started creating, what we now think of as star seeds. So partial Pleiadian, partial human, and there are so many examples of this today on the earth with humanity. And so they've been leading us since the beginning of time. They're very loving, gentle, heart-centered, kind, wise, and they really are on a mission to help us create new Earth. It's a big part of what they're doing too.
And so, what do they share with you about this notion of new earth? We've been saying for so long, hold your vision of new earth. That's really important. Can you share why it's important to have our vision of new earth? And do they share what their vision of new earth is?
Yes, such a good question, Loren. One of the things that they've shown me is it's a lot like we understand Lemuria to be or to have been, depending on your view and how you think of it. From my perspective, it's all happening simultaneously. There is no time and space, so it does exist. So it's a lot about living in a way where we love and respect all beings. So from animals to plants to the earth to each other, there's a deep respect and love for each other. And we live in a harmonious way. And this is what's really natural for many of us. And so many of us have gotten away from that. And one of the reasons it's so important right now for us to hold the vision is because the ones who are lost need the reminding. The ones who have forgotten need to see the light and the kindness and the love and the compassion so they can remember too, because we're all remembering. That's part of this. And through remembering is how we feel connected to what we feel we're meant to be doing on the deeper levels, the soul levels, and then are able to move forward in that way of leadership. And leadership can simply be just us showing up as who we are and someone else witnessing us and being inspired by it. And it can also be, leading masses around the world. You know this very well, right, Lauren? Leading masses around the world with leadership, authentic leadership.
Yeah, it's really very interesting. We've talked for a while that, New Earth is a frequency. The Arcturians say this all the time. And so, because it is a frequency, that does confirm what you say, that New Earth is already here. And we even know that the Lemurian etheric field is still around our planet. And so, isn't that beautiful? Well, it looks interesting. Here we are, lots of folks who are ready to teach or ready to step up in leadership roles are actually frightened or hesitant. What do the Pleiadians say about this?
Such a great question, because this is the thing that can keep someone kind of spinning or stuck for a long time if they don't move those blocks out of the way. And it's really important to move them. And a lot of times they can be moved as in a way that's a lot easier than we might have anticipated to begin with. So basically what they're saying is you just get going. You do it anyways. You do it even if there is fear there. You do it even if there's doubt there. Because leading from a genuine, authentic place can look like us being really in alignment with our soul and our soul essence, which we all have a very special signature soul essence that's uniquely our own. And then it can also look like leading from sometimes the very vulnerable human aspects of us, parts of us. And that might mean feeling afraid, but you show up and you do it anyways. And by doing that, you inspire the person witnessing you to do the same, to show up and not wait until perfection is here or until they've had one more training or they think they're good enough, right? This is something that I would say most leaders work with and have worked with. We feel all of those things and have felt all of those things, and we show up and do it anyways. I don't want to speak for everyone, but my sense is many of us feel it and we show up and do it anyways.
I love that. Thank you. So that is inspiring for so many because, we don't have to have it perfect. And if we're showing up authentically, like you, when you just showed up and sat down for receiving those channeled messages, you showed up and received it. And then later You were given the directive on what that is and why it's important. And so, would you say that when we show up in a way like this, we just begin doing it and we do it from a frequency that's going to open us up for a vibration and information to move through us, maybe in a channeled way that does inspire people. So that perfection, that need for perfection, it's almost like, fear of public speaking or just fear of being seen. That's a huge one. And that could be from these past lives. So facing that fear is key. Now, what can be done to eliminate that fear? Do we call on angels? How did you eliminate your fear so that you could just do it, just step up and show up?
You know, I do think this is one of the biggest fears that a lot of healers, conscious leaders have. It's the fear of being seen. And exactly like you said, the past lives, many people were killed for showing up because of who they are and how they are in other lifetimes. So that fear can be real, right? That soul trauma can be very real. For me, one of the things that's very, very helpful is to know that I'm doing this for a cause, a reason, a purpose, a mission that is much bigger than me or my immediate wants or how I could be impacted. That being said, it's important to take care of yourself. I take care of myself. I do what I need to. I practice self-love. And I remember in those moments when fear arises that there's a greater plan here. There's something bigger than me at work. And if I can just keep showing up and trusting and surrendering to the flow, the frequency, that divine energy that moves through all of us if we allow it, then it's happening. And the other piece is that we can lead just literally one to one in a conversation with someone. We can help inspire or change someone's mind simply through, a smile and a genuine connection, through looking in their eyes when we pass them on the street. And these are all ways that we really are creating new earth. I really believe that.
Yes, thank you for that. And this is a beacon call for everyone out there as we live our lives and move on the planet to hold this frequency. That's why when New Earth is a frequency, it's that frequency of showing up in love and harmony and those Lemurian virtues. And so, wow, I can sense that. I can see how powerful that is, even if it's just one other heart that we're touching in the moment. That is perfect. Saying hello to someone could literally change the trajectory of their day, of their month, of their life, because they could be depressed and just that love. And maybe that is where our guides that are invisible, are actually nudging us to assist us in holding that frequency and sharing that frequency. So we don't have to get on a Zoom and broadcast it to the world. I know some are really hesitant of that, and we can work through that, but just that vibration that we bring in everything that we do. All right. So here's another thing that I get. There's my finger is on the pulse of our audience. And for years, we've been sensing that the journey of this learning and applying the wisdom. So we go after, we're curious about the wisdom, what that means. And so we go get the wisdom, and then we take so many courses and we apply that wisdom into our own lives. But then we're feeling and sensing there's something more. I need to do something more. Yet I don't know what to do. I don't know where to begin. Do you have any advice on that? What do the Pleiadians say?
Hmm. Well, one of the things that can be very helpful is is to know your soul purpose. That can be very helpful as a way to orient and a way to begin. And so I can just tune in right now and see what comes when you ask that question. I'm getting from the heart, they're showing me from the heart that that's one of the most important pieces, and it's not coming from the head. that we have to figure it all out and get all our ducks in a row and the steps. We come from the heart, and through the heart, we can really hear our wisdom and our intuition. And then through listening, we can let ourselves begin to follow the steps that were shown one after the other. And so for the people who may feel that they have a harder time hearing
And
that,
I lost your audio.
oh,
There, now it's back.
is it back? Okay.
Okay, so we follow the steps. We follow the steps.
Follow the steps of the intuition. And for anyone who might be having a hard time hearing their intuition or discerning which voice is their intuition, then there are a lot of ways you can do that. But one of the best ways is meditation and to really connect with the heart, move the blocks, the distractions out of the way. That's a quick overall, you know, process that you can do that with.
And that is our daily practice. That's the most important meeting of the day is with ourself in that sacred space. So carving out that space is, I would say, a pretty important requirement or an essential. And as we get busy and busy and busy, we always can come back to that. And that's where we are connected with that internal wisdom, right?
Definitely, definitely. The practices are so important. And, even when we are busy, we can actually weave them in. You can do one breath meditations and, you can drop in and just, how's my heart doing? Is there something that's coming through right now? Yeah, the Pleiadians are really saying the heart is so important and so underestimated in terms of how important it is as a guide for us. And so through connecting to our heart, then we raise our frequency so much more that it becomes easier to hear our intuition. And with the combination of the meditation and heart-centered practices, then we are again able to move forward and follow the steps. They're kind of repeating themselves in different ways, saying the same thing in different ways.
Yeah, so it takes us getting used to that so we can really grasp it. Okay, so one of the things we are going to talk about a special offer that you've got. It really is this beautiful package for the empowered, authentic leader. And it's from the channeled messages that you got from the Pleiadians. And we're going to talk about that in a moment, but I just want to say that this is transformational in the sense that it makes us better at what we do. It gives us a foundation and an architecture which to go out into the world with. So can we do an activation right now to get a sense of what it is that we can be feeling or experiencing in these deeper teachings of yours?
Sure, I would love to do an activation. So what you all can do is just relax, and you're welcome to sit straight while you're relaxed. You can also lay down. You can close your eyes, and you're also welcome to watch. Some people like to receive the transmission through watching. So I'm just going to be silent for a moment, and then we'll begin. We are here to hold you through this process, dear ones. Relax and allow and trust. This may look and sound differently than what you are used to. Eshere alekia ana ue aniahe. Halao o ere karahana an eshere were amma anasha. Yes, soften. Echere kuhue elekia shehana aye amo osho were anala ana. For the true leader leads from the heart. Acheku heshere na ele enekamu ekaramaha. Erena en osho wama anesheya ehan. The time is now, and we are calling to you all to begin on your journey of really letting yourselves be seen in the leadership process. You are ready. The time is now. Ele eche kara ana ashe hema ana. We are helping to remove the blocks. Ushuku ele kiara ana emue eniela krun. Echirenia oe anu ushum. Emakara ana la hanaye. Through the body is also the way. Ale enianu ushuku wamana asheyanaha. For your great power may come from the earth. Achere aluku enaa, and from your heart, awe anakrila an, and from the cosmos, also what you think of and call the divine. Eche kia ale ea nia ashehena o wemine ea laha. The things you may see as blocks are quite insignificant. Echere kalohue emana ana eshe. And you can work with your mind to learn how to relate to these things in a way that it does not stop your forward progress. Eche kuhue enila ashem makanaha. Ele ana ahie. New Earth is very much like what you might think of as heaven on earth. It is like what ones did in Lemuria and do continue to do in Lemuria to this day. Eshe kuru enile ache karaham. Eche mushuhea ale ia awe. We leave you with this for now, dearest ones. Let yourself receive. Let yourself receive the gifts from our hearts to yours. May you be blessed by this transmission. May you feel called to your authentic, empowered leadership in a way that is just right for you as you are right now in this moment and the moments to come. And may it all be for the highest good of all. We love you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. The light language definitely has that frequency of love and harmony, and it's so beautiful. So I hope everyone is feeling excited to step into their leadership roles. What do you think, Akasha, is a great way for people to begin? So, as I said, some are hesitant. They just don't know where to begin. They know they need to be doing something. Do you have any advice for us on that?
Hmm. Well, what comes to mind is some of the exercises in the leadership program. And the thing that pops up is journaling of all things. It's actually what I'm getting is writing out onto the page all of the expression around this so that anything that wants to be removed from the system can be removed, and any insight can then be taken from the words that are on the page. So journaling is one of the pieces that I got. I do recommend a regular meditation practice as well, which you spoke to. And that's a good way to really start to hear the deeper call and getting clear on your soul mission as well. And also feeling the fear and showing up and doing it anyways. Maybe there's one thing you try in a day that is you showing up as truly yourself in a situation or an environment where it might have felt a little bit difficult to do that, or it might be a bit of an edge for you, but you show up and you bring it and you see how it goes.
Show up and you bring it. Okay, wonderful. So we have a course that you have put together with the help of the Pleiadians, and this is developed over a year of your channeled messages. So who is this good for? Who is this good for?
This is great. This is great for someone beginning and wanting to really step into leadership, even if they're at the very beginning. It's also good for any leaders that are wanting to connect more with their soul essence and their authentic way of leading. Because some of the old ways of leading were about looking at how someone else was doing it. A few decades ago, it might have been looking at how men were doing it and then doing it like the men looked like they were doing it in these old school ways, right? The old paradigm ways. Then it seemed that a lot of people were looking at how's this person doing it, that seems to be successful. Can I just do it like them? But really, that's not the way. And one of the things they're showing that's so important is for us to do it our way, to find whatever our natural expression of it is. And this is going to look really different from person to person. One person might be dancing on a beach, and that's their way of leading. Another person might be in a suit, and putting together very structured steps or processes. So whatever is your natural way, anyone who's wanting more of that, it's good for them. Anyone who's been feeling some of the fear and the doubt, but they're wanting to start and ready to start and have some blocks to move out of the way, it's really good for them. It's good for the ones who have no idea what they want to do. They just know they want to do something, because all aspects, well, let me back up and say the program takes you through these things to help you get clearer.
Mm. Yes, a clarity is key here. It brings clarity on what to do and the steps to take. And I love it because it's all heart-centered. So when we're heart-centered, we're not judging. This is a big thing to move past as well. Judgment of ourselves, judgment of how we think it should be done. That's very mental, isn't it? So when we're stepping into new earth roles, and we're doing it from a heart-centered way, letting the stuff flow through journaling. I love that concept because those are when the aha moments come. And again, that's when our guides are speaking to us, right? And so listening, you use that term as well, listening to the guidance. That really is it. Now, it may seem simple, but it's something that's really important. So how long should people take to cultivate this? I mean, it's really almost because the time is now, somehow put one foot in front of the other and just begin doing something, whether that's smiling at the clerk at the grocery store, driving down the highway with your hand out, emitting energy, things like this, right? It's all these little things as we show up in a different way.
Mhm. I love the driving down the highway. I love that. I'm going to try that one. I love that.
Yes, I've actually done that. And I could feel energy coming and going. This was in Denver, and it gets really chaotic in Denver. So, all right. Well, this course that we're talking about, what is it going to do for those who take part in it? What can they expect to have happen?
They can expect to have blocks removed from them really showing up, that could be in the way of them really showing up and being their authentic selves, and also showing up as conscious leaders and way showers. They can expect to move out of perfectionism. Anybody who's been working with perfectionism, they can expect to move out of that, because what the Pleiadians show us is it's the complete opposite of being attached to doing it in this particular specific rigid kind of way. And for example, when I was coming on today, I wasn't exactly sure what we were doing. They said, just show up and be you, just surrender and let it happen. And that's how you do the authentic leading, when you have done enough practice and training that you feel comfortable enough to show up and do that. So it's a big part of learning how to do that, to just show up and surrender and be yourself and trust the process.
Yeah, I can see some people are like, oh, I'm scared. But there's that fear again, and we just do it and trust that the words that are coming through are our guides, that our heart-centeredness is a portal for information of love, right? It absolutely is. And so it cannot go wrong. Anything to say for those who, wow, I still am sensing those who just may not know, but what you're saying is if we focus on this in a heart-centered way, the clarity comes, and it comes in ways that we may not expect it, right? It may just be, oh yeah. And in our world, as we're seeing so much dismantling, changing, shifting, that's why it's important right now. And so, I think the past year or a couple of years, or even these past few months, the divide and conquer program by the 3D matrix is on high. And I think I'm seeing a lot of light workers, light leaders, spiritual folk decide that they're no longer going to take sides like that, that neutrality is the key. That right there is something. That right there is showing up as a leader, right? To
Absolutely.
to not get caught up and take sides on anything, but to be a bridge of all methods and all ideas and concepts for this harmony that we're seeking for New Earth. What are your thoughts on this?
I am right there with you on the divine neutrality because
Mhm.
I feel like we don't give up on anyone, right? I don't give up on anyone. So if someone's lost or they're being too influenced by shadow, darkness, whatever it could be, there's always an opportunity for them to awaken or come back to their hearts or connect with their divinity. And so through that, if I just show up and do what I'm meant to do, what I feel called to do, and it's not always work, doesn't always have to be this hard thing. It could be something light. It could be traveling across the world and, you know, co-facilitating a retreat. It could be something that's really fun. But what we can do is just show up and be who we are, even next to that, within all of that. And our light does go out into the world and it does impact what's happening. So this can be a way of activism, even one that no one knows is going on, maybe, on the other side of things, if you could say it like that. And at the same time, it helps inspire the ones that are on the fence to ideally, hopefully, choose the same, right? Instead of going into despair about what's happening, then they can maybe choose to show up and bring some goodness, share some of the light, listen to their guidance, follow their intuition, and then connect with another from their heart. And then they become one who's helping spread the light, helping spread the awareness of creating new earth.
Yes, thank you for that. So, on a personal level, can you share a personal moment when you had to step up into a leadership way for you in your own life? And even though you may have had doubt or fear, what was that like for you?
Well, I'm remembering the first year that I led the professional intuitive healer certification. It's a 9-month program, and right before I led it, I was asked to do an activation at a conscious dance event, and then the next day I was supposed to start leading it, and I my back was hurting so badly that I didn't think I could even sit up to do the activation and lead it. And this is very uncharacteristic. I don't have any back pain. I hardly ever have had back pain. So it was very unusual. And I knew my intuition told me, you move through this. You keep going through this, even with the pain, even if it's feeling like I'm not ready, or how can I lead this group of people, when I can hardly sit up or I'm feeling this. I showed up, I did it anyways. And of course, my guides are there with me. I always work with them. We create the healing containers. As soon as I started leading the class, the pain pretty much left, was gone. And it had been there for several days, like a good, I want to say 10 days.
Wow, thank you for sharing that because that shows the power of how that could have stopped you. You could have petered out, right? You could have just been like, okay, I'm not feeling well. You could have canceled. That's powerful. Okay. And
Thank
then in hindsight, what do you see that as? Because do you think that was an initiation or a test?
I love that question because I do feel like we walk through these thresholds. We walk through these thresholds, and right as we're about to get through to the other side, sometimes it can be so hard or so painful, or it can feel really scary. And if we can just have enough strength, courage, confidence, faith, whatever it is that takes us to that next step through the threshold, then we can do it. And, I say this because it's a delicate thing as a healer and as a spiritual teacher and as a conscious leader. We want to take really good care of ourselves and care of our bodies and all of those things. But often when these things are coming up right before we're about to do something fairly big, or fairly significant for us, it's a good chance there's something there that could be stopping us from really doing it and moving forward, that we can just move through and do it anyways. And if there's anything I've seen in the more than 20 years of doing this work, it's that I can do it through pretty much anything. I mean, I can really say that through pretty much anything so far. I've been able to show up and do it in ways when I never thought I could. And and in that comes a level of faith. I would call it faith, trust, that I can then share with the ones that I'm working with too. They can feel that and learn that and pick that up in a way that they don't get knocked off, when they're walking through those important thresholds for themselves. And so that's part of what I would say is also in the program too, an aspect of that transmission.
Yes, and so that program is here and it's available. We invite all of those watching and listening to scroll down on this webpage or click the link in the description box, and you'll be able to see this beautiful offering. So, Akasha, let's talk about this because there's 5 modules. And what I love about it is that it's really us tapping into us. And so the first module is rooting into your inner strength. Let's go over these 5 modules. Can you share with us what they're about and how they're going to help us?
Well, rooting into your strength is really about connecting to that sense of power that we all have access to. We all have access to it. And I spoke to it a little bit when I was talking about the earth energy and the cosmic energy, and also just what we can begin to see when we do keep showing up and doing it again and again. That begins to grow, that strength begins to grow. So you start to learn how to develop that within yourself so that you can keep taking one step after the other.
Yes, beautiful. Awesome. So, like, if you've ever heard or met someone who's unsure whether they're ready to lead or not, or step up in these roles, what would you say to them to encourage them to take action and step up?
What comes is listen to your heart. This is our precious life. This is our precious life that we get to choose how we're going to live it and what we're going to do with our time and energy. And if you don't do it now, waiting 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, how is that going to serve another year? The time is now to show up and live how you want to live. And that's a big part of what being a conscious leader looks like. It's living your unique signature essence and then just letting others be inspired by that. And so it can take some courage, yes, but we've all got it in us. That's what we came here to do. So I would say do what it takes to remove enough of the blocks so that you can move forward. And and when the excuses come up, if they come up, just go, thank you, I see you, I hear you, moving forward, moving forward.
We are moving forward, one foot in front of the other. And so, as we're on this journey, so there's 5 modules, and maybe you can share how people work with these modules. How long does it take to get through a module? Do you want to do like a module once a week? And then they're beautifully titled. The second one is leading with authenticity and integrity. The next one is connecting and uplifting others. Then we've got stepping into courage and commitment and embracing growth and letting go. Is there any order for this? Is there a reason why you put them in this order, or can they go any order they like? And how do people work with each of these modules? How long does it take?
One of the things that I share in the program is people can do it in 12 weeks or they can do it in 12 months, depending on their pace, what feels good and right and natural for them. So it's really up to the individual how they want to do it. The 12 activations are not meant to be done in any particular order. So people can look and go, oh, soul mission, I want to do that one. Or they can go, Lemurians, I want to do that one. So I encourage people to do the activations in the way that feels good and right and natural for them, what they feel drawn to or called to. The modules are done in more of a linear way, and the idea is that you're beginning to build a foundation that you then keep building on. So the modules are done through the workbook, and you can do those in the more of the linear way.
So tell us more about these details. So you've got the 5 modules, then there's energetic activations and embodiment practices. That's really cool. Share those details.
Mhm. So the embodiment practices are really important because we want to be here in our bodies on earth as we're doing this work. That's part of how we stay authentic. We know how we're feeling in a moment because our bodies are telling us, or we have an emotion coming through. So the embodiment practices are really important. And a lot of what's happening is learning how to be the multidimensional beings that we are inside a body. These beautiful awake beings that we are, we're remembering to be inside of our bodies. And so there are practices that you can do that help you do that, help you connect more with what that feels like to be in the body, doing it, living it. Like right now, there's an aspect of me that is still channeling, but I'm really rooted and grounded and connected to the earth. And you may be able to feel that when I say that. And the more that I do that, the more that connection strengthens. So, so it's really important to be able to have the foundation to be grounded and in the body as we're doing this work, to take care of ourselves and show up authentically and do it. So, yeah. The
Ec-
last thing I was going to say is those practices really just help us be in the body and do that and experience it.
Very good. So many times we just want to get out. And so that's the importance of it. So when people have completed this program and you've worked with people in the past, what have you seen in their transformation of people who've completed this process?
Well, I've seen blocks get moved quickly. The activations, the 12 activations, about 10 of them are about an hour long, and then 2 of them are about a half an hour long. And you go deep. You can do a lot of shifting, in 1 hour. A lot can happen when you're working with these amazing light beings, the Pleiadians and the Lemurians. And so what I've seen is people are able to move through blocks they've been sitting with for quite a long time, and then they're ready to take action. I'm thinking of one person who really, after experiencing the Lemurian activation with Mount Shasta, she ended up moving right into a space of forgiveness, in a situation where she had felt stuck for quite a while. She moved right to a space of forgiveness and was really moving forward on her path after that. Like that's one example of one of the activations. Another example is when people are experiencing the activations, a lot of information comes through. So they can get a lot of their own channeled information because they're sitting all of them take place in crystalline grids. So they're multidimensional in the sense that healing sanctuaries are created for each person each time they do them. So it's like being in their own sacred healing channeling chamber, and they're able to then get guidance and move forward in those ways, which they can find easier when they're in doing the activations. I could go on and on. There's a lot of different ways of doing it, but I can stop there too.
Wow. Okay. So this is a very comprehensive course. I just want to say, not only do you get those 10 hours or 11 hours with the 2 half-hour programs of activations, but then there's the journaling and reflection that people can integrate the wisdom from. And then you've got New Earth leadership embodiment practices, and you've talked a little bit about those. with meditations, but then there's invocations, affirmations, and prayers. What are these and how do we use those along the way? This is for information and bringing through more wisdom, right?
These are so special, the invocations and the prayers. One of the ways the Pleiadians work is they actually work with affirmations. So when I'm doing channelings or healings, a lot of times they'll say in English actual activations. Things
Mhm.
like I am free, or I am love, I am light. They'll share these affirmations. But the affirmations that are in the program are specifically geared towards the conscious leadership, and and you can use them in particular ways. So maybe you need one for a particular day or a particular event you're about to show up for. So you can use it as a way to invoke that energy within you. It's stronger than an intention because it's like your own individual activation. So you can use them in those ways. You can use the prayers, as a way to really be calling forward what you want to be creating. And so they're specifically designed to do that for leadership, for a person to move through some of the places that you can get stuck. Yeah.
And there's real life leadership practices and the applications. Tell us a little bit more about these.
So those are ways that you can test yourself. You can go out and try something, and maybe it's on a small scale, or maybe it's on a bigger scale, depending on what you're ready for and what you want to do. So, so you get to create those for yourself, but through getting clear with your mission and your purpose and what you feel called to do, what you want to be doing, you create them and then you go out and do them. So they're I mean, I don't want to say it's a way of holding you accountable, but it's a way of helping you get inspired to go out and take some of the steps that you want to be taking. And so they're just prompts. They encourage you to do it.
And that is really the action that we take. And sounds wonderful to really help people step into these new roles. Thank you so much for it. And so as as you see people participating in this course and working with you on it, what do you see them when they complete? I mean, when you think of everyone doing this and you see authentic leaders, wow, I can tend to think that everything's going to be changing. So this is good, but I also sense that it's in so many ways all areas of our life, education, right? Any area that people may have a skill in the past or talents in the past and things that they love, that can come into what they're doing here on the planet now for New Earth. Does that all fit into that big package of what they're here to do on their soul's mission, like what they did in the past? And that's got to have some strength for what we're embarking on here, right?
Yes, yes, 100%. And part of the way we know we're on our journey, we're doing what we're meant to be doing, is the level of joy and excitement we feel doing it. It's a good indicator we're right on target for what we're meant to be doing. And so, we can be, let's say, I mean, I'm thinking of my own life. Let's say I spend 20 years doing all these things that don't look related, like studying dance in Bali and getting a yoga training in India and, teaching psychology and mindfulness meditation and graduate school programs. Like, let's say they don't look connected. Well, they're all connected. They're exactly what I'm meant to be doing, and they've come together in my work. And so I was following my joy and following my excitement, following my bliss, right? And this is part of how I was also leading others. And I wasn't even aware of it at the time. So yes, 100%.
That is so wonderful. And I can sense that that is what makes all of us so unique. Even if there's 100 yoga teachers in one room, each of those experiences with each yoga teacher is going to be different and carry a different frequency because of the way we show up here. So I would think that that is a block that some people have. Oh, and it's one that I had for a while, that it's like, oh, yeah, okay. I ask the angels for ideas and then I'm shown the ideas, but then I see other people already doing it. So I throw my hands up because other people are already doing it. That really does not matter if other people are already doing this, right?
So
Because
true.
again, it's that energy that we bring into it that's really key. And we're all going to do it differently and uniquely in our own way. And some people are going to resonate with some people the way others may not resonate with us. So that makes it all beautiful for each of us. And so that is significant in us understanding the joy and our skills and not paying attention to how many other people are doing it.
Such a good point. That is such a good point because if you're meant to be doing it, it doesn't matter if the whole rest of the world is doing it. It's your piece if you know you're meant to do it. And you know, the more we try it and we do it and we see that, then the more we're going to do it the next time it presents. And you brought up something that made me make the connection that I want to say to the people listening, which is that we get the guidance, but sometimes we follow. Do we always follow? It's really important to follow the getting the guidance and following. That's the key. We have to move forward and follow the guidance.
Wow. Thank you so much, Akasha, because, all right, in my own journal. So my journal, I use a notebook with no lines and I journal and journal and journal. And I've always put the date on that journal. This is very important. I want to encourage everyone to put dates on it because when you're talking about following the guidance, if we put a date on something and then we flip the page over and we kind of continue journaling and journaling, just the other day I was going through, I rip out pages and then I reassort them all. And that's amazing to see how that comes together. And I've realized that when we are all journaling like this, that is the guidance. And not listening or not following the guidance, when you look back at a page that you've ripped out and you put it in order with something now, and then you're like, oh my goodness, this was 6 months ago, or 4 months ago, or 5 years ago, then that's a kick in the astral where we're like, okay, I've had the guidance, but I'm not following the guidance. So that's really important. So, what do you do to make sure that you follow the guidance? And do you ever experience this delay in taking action on the guidance? Like months go by, and then you're like, all of a sudden you can say, okay, I did take action, and that's why things change so rapidly. I'm getting off track there. But what do you do when maybe you're not following the guidance? What do you do to ensure that you do one thing, just step up a little bit?
It's such a good question and it's so important. And what comes to mind is just a very simple answer, which is you do what's necessary to raise your frequency a bit. Because through raising your frequency a bit, then it doesn't have to feel like such a push, or such I have to follow and do this. Sometimes it can happen without you even meaning for it to happen, right? It can unintentionally happen because you're just in flow, and before you know it, you did that thing on your list or the thing you were supposed to do. So I think one of the keys is to raise your vibration and also on a very practical level, to look at the kinds of things that can get in the way of us following our dreams, living our dreams, the excuses, whatever they could be. I'm too busy, or I don't feel well enough, or I've got to do this first. When we get to know what all these things are that can come up and get in the way, sabotage is a strong word, but if it's a dream that's been there for 10 years and someone hasn't acted on it, it's something to pay attention to. And so I would say, the simple answer is to raise your frequency. And then the more detailed answer would be to do what's necessary to get rid of the blocks so that you can move forward.
Thank you for that. And for all those watching and listening that experience something similar, we encourage you to do one thing moving forward. Like, for example, how many of us have a book? How many of us have a book that's half written, or maybe it's all written? We just don't think it's all written, or we're starting it. I mean,
Yeah.
how many? I think that's a lot of us. So then to step up and just do that, that takes some bold action. And this is where, doing what's necessary to get rid of those blocks, to remove the perfectionism. For example, if someone has a book that's not finished or they don't think it's finished, then we're judging ourselves and we're judging, why is this important to people? But again, when we share our story, that does inspire other people. People want to learn about the struggles and how we overcame the struggles because they've got that too. So
Definitely.
that's why this is important. So my last question for you is, why is this course important? Why is this so important for light workers now?
I can answer that on a couple different levels. The first one is we come here as souls to do things. We want to do these things that are so important to us on the soul level. It's literally the reason that we incarnate. And whether it be learning something, healing something, or inspiring a whole lot of people to wake up, to take action on something, whatever it may be, we come for a good reason that's very important to us. And when we're not following what feels like this natural pull of our soul essence, life just doesn't feel right. It's like something's off or something's missing. So that's a really important piece. And could you say the question again, Lauren?
Yeah, I'm just saying, why is this important for light workers now?
And then the other part of that is there are so many people that need help right now. There are so many people in the world that if they just could be inspired in a particular way or learn how to move just one block so they could move forward or get out of a situation that isn't working for them. All the ways that we know from our own journeys, right, that we've begun to wake up more and more on our evolution path of ascension and awakening, that we may never know how much we can inspire and help others. And one good exercise for those of us who want to know what this feels like is to just do a meditation and feel into the good that you've done in the world, the love that you've shared in the world, the light, the ways you've helped others. Feel that pouring out from you, and then feel it all come back to you. Feel it pouring back into you. And for me, when I do this, I can cry sometimes. It's so beautiful. There's so much love and gratitude there that comes back, that I feel and that comes back to me. And and my guides show me, the Pleiadians show me these ripple effects of the goodness that we do in the world. They keep going through multiverses. They never stop. They just continue and continue. So now is the time to do it, to help others who need it, to help raise the frequency on this planet so that we can all be living New Earth.
Thank you so much for that. This is really trusting ourselves enough. And I love that exercise, remembering the love and the inspiration that we shared. That is so simple and it comes so easily to us. I really want to iterate that fact because that is so beautiful for our world. And so, if all we do is inspire someone to move forward in their life in a loving way, to be in their heart, to connect with their higher self, we've done an incredible job. That's the role, that's the job. And the world shifts tremendously in that moment. We've got a lot of chaos going on right now, and people need that inspiration. People want to be inspired. And so if we say all we do is inspire, whether it's a post on social media somewhere or stepping up in a neighborhood, I mean, what is this app in our neighborhoods next door apps that are local, that can get very heated and people pointing fingers. But what if we stepped in to an inspirational role in that way? I'm just seeing all the different ways that we can apply this in every area of our life. Um, Again, I think our listeners get this and understand it, but now to step up and teach it, you've got a really good portfolio of practices that people can use. So I guess I just want to give you a final moment for any other things about your course that I may have left out. Is there anything extra that you'd like to say about it in general?
I think what I would like to say is that it feels really good to be an empowered, authentic leader. It feels just natural and good and right, and not like something that I have to work so hard to do or we have to work so hard to do. It just feels good to do it. And and if people got the program and they just did the channelings alone, my sense is great change is possible. Great change is possible. And that's one of the things my guides have shown me, that they didn't even want me to call the activation work healing. They wanted me to call it transmissions because they explained that in a transmission, you go from point A to point B. It's actually different and can be faster than healing. And so they said, don't even call it healing, just they're activations. And so that being said, where can you get to? Where could one get to from even just doing one activation on your journey of awakening as a conscious leader? So,
Thank you.
yes. And I also want to say, Lauren, you have done such amazing work in the world. You have, I mean, millions. You've helped so many people with your work. You are a deeply inspiring leader, conscious leader, way shower in this world. And so I just want to thank you and honor you for all that you've done. It's absolutely amazing.
Wow. Well, thank you for that. And I just have to say, I do what makes my heart sing. And that is indicative of all of our roles. If we do what makes our heart sing, for me, I love interviewing people. I always did it when I was a little girl with the little portable tape recorder that came out in the 70s. So, I mean, it was really fun. And one thing that I want to add is that there are belief systems that some, either ourselves or other people around us, maybe family members or even business colleagues, may say, you can't make money at that. That's not going to support you. That's something that should be trashed. That's a belief system that needs to be thrown away. And that is sabotage. So, this course with the activations will help us see where we are sabotaging ourselves and limiting ourselves. So, this, Akasha, it feels like this is liberation. This is liberation for New Earth and game on for New Earth. And this is where it gets fun. Yay.
Yes. Yes. Mm.
Oh, this is beautiful. So we are excited for everyone. If this speaks to your heart, if this tickled your fancy in any way, you may be sensing that this is exactly what I need. So say yes to this. It is wonderful to be supported in this way. Jen, if someone goes through this course and they have questions, are you there for them on email, or will you be able to support them in a way that can help them advance their journey?
Sure, people are welcome to reach out. They're welcome to reach out to me via email. Yeah.
Excellent. So this is a self-paced course with activations from the Pleiadians and actually the Lemurians and Star Council from our cosmos. And so we're inviting everyone to check this out, receive these energetic transformations, and receive the containers for you to hold your own beingness in and receive the wisdom and the inspiration in your own life so you can go out and do that for others. Again, we would love to make this easy for everyone. So there's a 2 payment option if that makes it easier for you. And you can get an immediate download on this and start right away. How beautiful. 5 modules, a number of, 12 high frequency channeled activations, and so much more. Thank you, Jen, Akasha Jen. We loved the transmission today, the activation, the conversation, and we are feeling inspired and ready to go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let us close with a few. Wow, I want to hear. I'm thinking there's Pleiadian transmission that wants to come through as we say goodbye.
I'm just hearing, thank you, dear ones. Thank you. They often say, thank you, dear ones. I'm hearing, we love you. Thank you for all that you already are doing in the world. And keep it up.
All right, everyone, we can see how this is needed on our planet right now. Do not be distracted by sabotage energies. Bust right through them. Step right up and step into your new earth leadership role. Does not have to be hard. It is one that is done with ease and grace. Thank you, Akasha.
Thank you so much, Lauren. It's wonderful to be here.
Thank you. And thank you all hearts for watching. Again, your love matters, and we are here to support you on your journey. And we hope that you find this course beneficial in doing that. Thank you all. Thank you, Akasha. Namaste. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.